Every time I go buy groceries, it seems like everything is so much more expensive. So I dug up an old grocery pickup receipt from this time last year, and I went to that same grocery store to see how much that same list of groceries would cost me today. If you're worried about the accuracy of this test, let me put your mind at ease real quick. I took economics in college. I should first say, this is very unlike me. I never used to look at grocery prices. I would just buy whatever I wanted, but all my money's going away so fast. I need to figure out why I feel so poor, even while making a pretty decent income as a designer. So I'm not quite to the old grandma collecting coupons, but I'm getting close. Starting with the item that saw the biggest jump in price, you guessed it, eggs. Last year, 18 eggs cost us $1.59, and today it's $4.89. That's a 207.55% price increase. This is, of course, not because of inflation, but the avian flu recently caused an egg shortage, so the price went up, but still, 207% increase is a lot. But at the same time, I mean, $4.89 for like 4 meals is pretty cheap. Okay, moving on. I was surprised that a lot of stuff actually stayed the same price, like the exact same price, and one item even dropped in price, like by a lot. Oat milk. What's going on? No one like oat milk anymore? Hey, I'm not complaining. More oat milk for me and my protein shakes. For all you oat milk haters out there, no, okay? Almond milk is gross. Regular milk gives me the toots, so here we are. Speaking of dairy, they're saying the biggest price increases are in dairy and meat. These cheese slices went up by 24.5%. A half gallon of chocolate milk went up by 42.33%. And a 32-ounce bag of Mexican-style shredded cheese went up by 14.31%. It's crazy how much prices have gone up in a single year. Well, later in this video, we're gonna look at a receipt that I found from before COVID and compare it to today's prices. And it's way worse. It's way worse. In the meat aisle, 1 pound of ground beef went up 37% from $5.09 to $6.99. Ground turkey went from $4.49 to $5.99, a 33% price increase. Bread saw a pretty big jump in price with a 27% increase. Quaker oats are 33% more expensive, but the most heartbreaking one for me, at a 51% jump in price from last year, is GT's kombucha. They used to be $2.50. Maybe GT Dave actually was the villain all along.
Oh my God. That's the most villain shit I've ever seen. It really is.
So the total for this basket of goods in 2021 was $114.93, and today was $127.56. That's a 10.99% increase, 11% increase. Now, I'm obviously going to take all this information to my employer and ask for a 10.99% raise. It's a cost of living raise. They'll definitely go for that, right? I've personally never received any kind of raise to match inflation. I've never heard of anyone that has. But a lot of people on the internet seem to think that this is something that should happen.
We have never given an inflation raise in the history of this company, nor will we. Okay? You are paid what the position pays in the marketplace. You're paid what you can be replaced for, with rare exceptions. We give everybody 8% raises because the news says inflation went up 8%. You can't afford to do that, number one. Number two, it's not fair. Number three, it doesn't make sense from a business perspective.
No. You need to communicate this, but the reality is let's play this out. They think that they should get a bump for inflation, so if we play that reasoning out, that means you take it away as soon as inflation begins to subside, and they wouldn't be cool with that either.
By the way, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to catch Dave Ramsey in subscribers, and we're getting close. We're getting close. One thing that Ken Coleman was saying in this clip, which is a little bit silly. I love you, Ken Coleman. He reacted to one of my videos, so I got to give the man some love.
I recently came across a video that's done very, very well on YouTube. It comes from Jake Farron and his channel. He had 2 full-time jobs, apparently crushing them in both, but then he gets caught. You got to see this story. We're going to react to this in real time. Here we go from Jay.
His whole argument for like, okay, so you want to raise to match inflation, but what about when inflation goes back down? Then are you going to get a pay cut in that case? But if you look at the charts, so this is the 12-month percentage change in inflation. So you can see inflation got up as high as 9.1%. So you might think like, oh, I should get a 9.1% raise, but now it's come back down to 5%. So then would I have to give back that 4% because inflation's come down? So when inflation goes up, prices go up, right? What about when inflation goes down? Then prices are still going up, They are still going up, but just at a slower rate. So if in 1 year, a standard grocery run for me is 11% more expensive, how much more is it now compared to before COVID when all this really started picking up? Like look at the increase over the last year compared to clear down here in March 2020. So I was trying to figure out how to see the prices from before COVID. Then I realized we used to do a lot of grocery pickup at Walmart. So I searched my wife's email and boom, a receipt from March 2020. Man, March 2020, what a strange time. So we headed to Walmart to hopefully discover why we feel so poor now. Starting with the biggest price increase, yeah, you guessed it. This thing used to cost $3. It's 10 now. That's a 231% price increase. The next biggest jump at a 63% increase is this bag of frozen chicken breasts. It's a 3-pound bag. It went from $5.94 to $9.74. That's wild. Quaker Oats went up 54%. This 10-pound bag of potatoes went from $3.49 to $5.97. That's a 51.52% increase. Milk went up 47%. This peanut butter is 43% more. Honey is up 42%. Rice is up 32%. And all of these items also saw a pretty big jump in price since 2020. While we were doing our shopping, we came across the Mr. Beast Feastables display and it looked terrible. Complete mess. So I took a second to clean it all up. I got your back, Mr. Beast. No worries. So the total back in March of 2020 for this basket of goods, yes, I'm an economist, basket of goods was $117.01. And today, the same basket of goods would cost you $151.99. That's an increase of a whopping 29.89%. That's a solid chunk of change. If money's feeling tight for you right now, you might enjoy this video where I break down my monthly spending. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.